Piano man, front and center. What's your name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence, you ever played keyboards? Any techno?
No, I only play piano.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Boys and girls,
he's a singer.
he's 170 pounds of shredded muscle.
He's a songwriter.
6'1" with glistening, silky hair.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a worship leader.
He has been known to kill 3 men to protect his wife with bare hands.
This handsome gentleman has 2 beautiful children.
Beautiful kids. His name is Josh Falcon.
Josh Falcon Guerrero, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Josh Falcon Guerrero. My apologies. But he is our special guest today, and we are very happy to have him because he is the root of Frendz. He is the beginning of Frendz all the times.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Look how excited he is to be on the show, y'all.
Looks like he has a bunch of gum in his mouth. Fresh.
Hi.
I don't know why I said the gum in his mouth.
What does that have to do with
Because I
anything?
figured, you know, a gum comes like little white little pieces. Like,
How did you make that connection?
I don't know, man. It was just on the fly.
Dude, if you
That's
look
what
at
happens when you do
how well
stuff
his
live.
beard is shaven, he must use Gillette.
You like that?
He must use Gillette.
That's a Gillette beard right there.
You like that?
That's a Gillette beard. Gillette, we need
Speaking
a
of
we need
beard,
a
I'm growing one out. I'm trying.
Looks
It's a
It
little
looks
scruff.
good. It actually
I
looks
like it.
good.
Some patch,
good.
but I'm gonna stick it out and see what
Rugged.
happens.
I could never grow hair like that on my face. It's just way too thin. It's like
Your hair?
It's like so. Yeah,
Oof.
super thin, super thin.
Are you washed?
super thin hair, y'all.
Kids, go ahead and tune out. This podcast is going down the toilet.
What? That's PG according to me.
Hey,
I heard that
PG,
same
man.
phrase in
That's
Ice Age.
South
in Ice Age, which is
Ukrainian
G. I saw that same term in Ice Age, which is rated G for little children.
Hey, we'll bleep that part
It's
out.
not a bad word.
We'll bleep that part out.
All right, we'll bleep it out.
Literally, you guys will not hear it. You just will never know what he said.
Yeah.
But Josh is our very special guest. We're very happy to have him because he is the reason why me and Oleg became friends.
Exactly.
So, Josh, take it away. Introduce yourself, my man.
What's up, everybody? My name's Josh Falcon. I'm just glad to be here hanging out with you guys. You guys are freaking hilarious.
So it's not Josh Guerrero.
It is.
It is.
Falcon is the middle name. It's just easier to say, and it's easier to
'cause
spell.
We had a debate last week. Not debate. I was curious.
Well, it wasn't actually necessarily a debate. I was wondering, is there anybody actually named Falcon? Because if you have a middle name, does that mean that could be your first name, somebody's first name? So I've never heard anybody's name be
Can you
Falcon.
imagine if your name was Falcon? Hello, my
It's-
name is Falcon.
it's-
That's like, dude,
Falcon.
icebreaker.
That's like
Yeah,
a
I guess.
007 character right there.
Iceberg breaker. My name is Falcon. What? What's up? Can we be friends? Or,
Dude.
hey, what's up? Can I marry you?
That's like the baddest name on the planet.
Dude, you walk in with a name like that, you own the town,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
That's
Falcon?
well said, my man.
Hi, I'm Serge. Not the same.
Hi, I'm Falcon.
Yeah.
Marry me.
Falcon.
Marry me, Falcon.
Please be my friends.
That's just a bad name, man. That's just
Bad is a
bad
good,
name.
like,
Thank you.
Didn't you say that he was an MMA fighter in the intro or something like
well,
that?
I read a
That's
headline
true.
once.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
It was on Onion News.
That's
so I don't
very
know
true.
if that's true.
If I was fighting a guy named Falcon, I'd probably lose.
Hey,
Watch
if I
out.
was fighting a guy
Watch out.
if I was fighting a guy with the name Falcon, I wouldn't fight a guy with the name Falcon.
You wouldn't.
Period. I was running.
It's a bad idea. It's
Bad
it's
idea.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, Josh, back to you and us not
Just
talking.
so that you know, we're gonna go on a lot of tangents in this podcast. So
Hey,
don't be
we
thrown
got
off by
45
that.
minutes. Oh man, I guess what's the time?
I would be
We're
caught
supposed
by
to time the
surprise.
podcast.
We're
We forgot to
timing
time
this
it.
one. 45
Okay.
minutes, folks.
Gotcha.
It's all
We've had
good.
some complaints. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I thought podcasts were like 10 minutes. It's like 40. It's like a lot. It's
Have
like
you
way
ever
more,
heard a
lots
podcast?
more than 15."
Unbelievable.
Actually, no one actually sound like that, but it's just my.
Is it teenage girls listen to this? Is that the deal?
Well,
Rockland teenage girls?
Who knows,
listen to
man?
this?
If any teenage girls out
Look,
there, email us at frendzpodcast to let us know the
we are
demographic of our
definitely-
listeners.
We're definitely not doing this podcast to meet young girls. Because today at the coffee shop, hey girls, do you guys like podcasts? My grandpa listens to podcasts. I was like, cool.
And then
that's
Serge,
cool.
and then wait. Serge then asked the girls, "Oh, well, he might not hear." I'm like, "What do you mean he might not hear?" She just said
Yeah,
he
I just-
listens to
I would-
podcasts.
Hey, this guy's already
he
tearing
listens
me
to
apart.
podcasts.
Already,
I'm
dude.
just
Nothing
stating
to say
facts.
against him.
I first of all, I love you. I love
No,
you
for
dearly.
me. No,
I
I'm
love you
not-
dearly.
No.
So don't get butthurt about this. But you did make a pretty stupid comment there. Does
Yeah,
he?
you know-
Does he? What if he has a hearing problem? She just said he listens to podcasts. He doesn't. There's no podcast braille
Hey,
out there, bro.
He might have a translator to braille, so shut
That's
up.
true.
Okay, so
Dude,
back to Josh.
Back to
We
Josh.
gotta get on track.
Tangent over. So what are you
Josh.
up to these days, brother?
up?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, this morning I was changing a dirty diaper.
Dirty diaper. Wow. Well, I mean that's
that's
probably
re-
priority number one. But what's your
Yeah.
priority number two as far as music goes?
Oh, as far as music, yes.
Dirty diapers are
yes,
important,
yes,
ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We're not against dirty diapers.
Unless it has to do with business. So unless you want to start talking about the diaper business, that's cool with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
maybe he's like-
yes.
Testing out some new
Someday, gentlemen.
prototypes.
Someday.
Maybe yeah.
It's in your future.
Maybe he's an investor
see
in a diaper
So
company.
music.
Music.
Music, yeah. Man, lots of cool things and great things with music. I'm kind of on a break right now. I play rhythm guitar and sing background for an artist named Lincoln Brewster, and we have a tour coming up in March that I'm really excited about on the East
Where
Coast.
are you guys going? East Coast?
East Coast, yeah, for about 2 weeks, and then it's kind of sporadic throughout the spring, and then yeah, I'm just I kind of do the artist thing too. You guys know that, obviously.
So is that on hold right now because of the touring?
It's kind of on hold, yeah. I mean, I'm still writing. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I'm still writing and creating and doing that sort of thing, but I haven't really gone fully in the studio and started tracking yet. I'm just kind of demoing some ideas right now. But I'm still very excited about that. And then
Are you still going the same vibe direction that you were going before, or you kind of because everyone evolves.
yeah.
Like, do you feel like your new stuff is it going to evolve to something newer, different, or is it going to go on the same track?
Yeah, kind of from the polka metal to polka reggae.
We have a lot of those fans.
Polka and reggae
I thought that
fans.
would be a good.
Definitely.
A lot of those fans.
I thought that would be, mixing it up a little
Polka
bit would
metal.
be nice. Yeah.
It's really good.
Dude, you
It's-
wrote Wreckage, which was originally like a reggae tune. If you got, I mean, I'm sure if you guys have listened to Josh, you know the song Wreckage. It's not
If you haven't, you need to stop, pause this right now, go onto iTunes and download.
right.
What's the album
Wreckage,
called?
Josh Falcon, self-titled.
Well,
Oh,
the
it's just
whole
one
album.
It's one song.
No, the whole
Oh.
album.
Oh, Josh Falcon, his album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I thought there was a
The whole
album. name.
album.
Oh, it's just self-titled.
Okay, self-titled. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, you need to go find him on iTunes, download the album, listen to it 10 times, then come back to this podcast.
Thank you.
Every podcast, we seem to be telling people how to turn away from the podcast. So,
Hey,
I
you
think
know
we-
what? But that said, this is gonna be a little pause
Hi,
for you.
Mom. Hi, Mom.
with that said, we got to give a shout out to the fan surge.
We have fans, legit ones.
We got 100 downloads on our first
Wow.
podcast
In 12 hours.
in 12 hours and 50 subscribers.
That's a pretty. I don't know.
That's
if
pretty
in
awesome.
podcast land, I don't know what the.
I don't know.
what the numbers are.
I don't know. You know, in fact,
no
I am
idea.
so happy about the surge. I think Josh can just leave, and we just need to be thanking the fans the rest of the show.
Yeah,
Awesome.
the rest of the show, Josh. Thanks for having
Just-
me. We appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks for
Fans, we're
Thank
just gonna
you.
thank
See
you
you
right
later.
now in
All right.
all the ways we know.
This is how
Thank
much we
Thank
care about you guys.
We really appreciate you guys. Josh, can you please leave? We have fan time now.
We have
please?
fan time
We
now.
need to have fan time. All right, Josh, you can come back.
Okay.
Just kidding.
We ran out of stuff to talk about that fast.
Yeah, sorry guys. We love you, but we still love Josh too. We have to have Josh.
We have to have Josh on.
He's the reason why we're friends.
Oh, you're so
we should
nice.
talk about that. So,
Okay, let's talk about that. Yeah.
did you meet me first or Oli first?
I think he meant me first. So I'm his bigger friend, right?
Yes, you are bigger.
Very big.
In size
dumber.
and it
You're bigger.
bigger, definitely.
You're greater. You're stronger.
Sounds like a worship
You're
song.
Russian.
I feel like Jesus right now.
Man.
Well, he was singing. You're singing me the song. That's all I gotta say. So, so anyways, back to
how
the
did you
story.
meet him?
Yeah,
I don't even remember how I met you.
I met you through a mutual friend, and I think it was like at a church and
Renaissance
Church, the Sance, aka
Sance.
the Sance, and I heard about you, and I heard about like how awesome of a keyboard player you were, and they were like, "Oh, you got to check out this guy named Oleg. He's Russian, but he plays like a gospel, like amazing gospel, like keyboardist. You got to check him out."
I hate when people say that because like you don't know how to react. You know, like you don't want to seem like you have a big head, so you try to be humble. But then when you try to be humble, it doesn't seem genuine. It's like
Yeah,
just
it's
don't
hard.
say
Oh
that. about
yeah,
me. Don't
so
say.
hard, Oleg.
I don't know how to react to that.
So hard to be the best and not
All
like.
the time I get
look like
compliments. I
it.
don't know how to react to them.
And
I
that's
just-
exactly what I'm talking about right there. That is exactly what I'm talking about. So can people from now on just refer to me? I knew this keyboard player, and people said that there's a keyboard player that exists here. Boom, done. That's all you
Okay,
gotta say.
yeah, that's okay.
all you gotta
That's what it was. That
That's
was
what
the
it was.
conversation.
There we go.
And we needed a keyboard
Stop.
player, and so I think I texted you or got your number somehow.
Yeah, and actually, I think you came and played with Method Echo. I remember with a band that you used to be in.
Okay,
And you came
that's
and you
right.
guys played worship, and I ended up playing with you guys.
That's right.
And I remember seeing your bass player Chris for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's, for those of you that don't know Chris, he's this huge, really buff dude, bass player, amazing bass player,
amazing bass player.
who played with Josh. And when I saw him, I seriously, I was intimidated. I was like, not only is he huge, he must be insane on the bass. And then he ended up being the super humble guy to me. And I was humbled by that. I was humbled by all you
Everyone's
guys.
humble compared to Oleg.
No, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Look what you guys have done. This is your fault.
jab.
This is your fault. I suck. From now, I'm just gonna
You
say I
walked
suck.
right into that, dude.
You walk
That, yeah, that's true. That's true. But honestly, when I first met you guys, the reason I really wanted to play with you guys were all so humble. You guys were all so good at your instruments, as a band, all that kind of thing. But you guys were all so humble. I just loved playing with you guys.
Yeah, that goes for me too. Awesome time playing these guys. Never, no egos, no any hidden agendas. Just really genuine, good players, and that we'll be honest about everything at the same time, genuine and just really easy to work with. So Josh has probably been. I mean, I don't mean to, toot your horn. It sounds weird. Live on the
Toot it, my man.
Toot your horn.
We got to
I mean,
toot.
If
toot
the
his
horn's
horn.
out there,
Yeah, I'm gonna toot it so hard.
Just toot it. Alrighty.
Okay, so
So now we're even on the PG-13
okay,
comments.
We're dealing. Yeah.
We're even.
So Josh has probably been one of the easiest artists to play for. I've played for quite a few artists, and the most humble, easy, fun artist I've ever played with, hands down. So
Thanks, man.
I don't know if that goes for you, but for me, it's been
By far, because there's not a shortage of artists, especially as a musician, who to play with, where to play. But I mean, with you, man, like you're the most laid back guy. If somebody screws up on something, like 99% of people, you don't yell at them, and so people just love playing with you.
But it doesn't mean but your professionalism and your how much you strive to be good at what you do or good at how we sound is right there. So it's like this really, really healthy balance.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said,
This has been the Tooting Josh's Horn.
this has been the tooting segment. We got a new segment. We just
We
got a new segment.
deflated his horn.
This segment shall now be called the Toot Our Guest Horn
What
segment.
if we don't know the guest? I don't want to toot someone's horn. I don't
Brought
know.
to you by the Drum Lab.
I don't like tooting random horns.
I wouldn't do that either. That's uncomfortable.
That's-
All right, so back to Josh.
We're just gonna be talking about tooting horns.
So
this
then
whole
I come in the
podcast?
picture. I play with Josh and his band. What?
That's right,
Are you upset
yeah.
that I interrupted you?
No, I'm just,
No, it's
just
fine.
keep going with yourself.
So
Yeah. So we played together, and then I heard about you from a friend of mine, mutual friend, Aaron Padilla, who is the audio tech at
From,
Bayside.
not from Padilla Bail Bonds.
No, yes.
Just
no,
want to
not
make
Padilla
everyone know
Bail
he's not
Bonds.
involved.
Not
in
that we've
business.
ever visited that place
Never
before.
ever.
But if Padilla Bail Bonds wants to become a sponsor, we are open to that.
1-800
I just want to say we are open to sponsorship.
Padilla.
So by no means is this a bashing on Padilla
We
Bail Bonds.
love
not at
Padilla
all.
Bail Bonds.
We
If they
love
want to
them.
give us a call and they want to be,
I've used
a
them
sponsor,
so many times for my family. I've used them plenty of times
I
for
have not.
Surge. I've used them. They're great. They got Surge out in
I
minutes.
have never
man.
been in jail. Don't even start putting that rumor out there. Continue.
Anyways,
So
back to Josh.
Padilla.
Okay. So yeah, so Aaron, we needed a drummer. I was in a band called Method Echo at the time. We were a pop band. We were doing shows all over the West Coast and clubs and some churches, but mostly like clubs and kind of the bar scene. And we needed a drummer, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, you got to call Serge. He'd be a great fit for you." I had no idea who you were, and so it was kind of like, "Hey, can you come play drums or come to rehearsal?" I think you just came and popped in and started playing
Confession:
our songs.
when they were a band in the beginning, I was in another band, and I just thought Method Echo was so cool. You guys were so cool, and I was like, man, I want to play in that band too. They're such a good band. I love my band at the time, but you guys were like, you guys were already pretty big in the scene, and we were just starting out. And when you told me this is and then years later, you came to me to play, I was like, oh, I get to play in Method Echo. I was so
Wow, that's
pumped.
cool, man.
I was pretty pumped.
Wow. I never knew that.
You never knew that ever?
Ever.
Yeah,
Never.
ever.
Well, that's kind of how
No.
I felt when I started playing with you. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when you told me Serge was going to play with us for the first time? And then I responded to you. I was like, what? How did you get the Serge to play?
horn!
Yay!
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that text?
Not really.
Yeah, I
think
remember.
he's full of it, but
No.
as much as he insults me on this podcast and off behind the scenes,
Serge knows I love him. It's just, he
don't
knows
know about
he knows
that.
very well.
I don't know. Anyway, so I guess Oleg was stoked to play with
Yeah,
me.
so and then Serge came, and then I was like, "Wow, that's how he plays." I'm kidding. No, he played it really well. He played.
That's how I
He was
feel
awesome.
every time I hear myself play.
And so yeah, so my question to you is, man, I was excited to have you on this podcast. So after that, you kind of went solo, after playing with Method Echo. So
Yeah.
after that, you after going solo, did you have like a particular goal in mind? Were you just doing something you love? Why did you start going solo?
Well, I went solo because I felt like something was missing. When the band ended, I really didn't want the band to end, but it kind of felt like it was just coming to an end, and everybody just was kind of feeling that. And when like the motivation and the heart's not there, it's just tough to like pull rehearsals together and pull shows together. So we split off, and everything was cool. I think the awesome thing about Method Echo ending was there was no drama. It was like everybody was still great friends, and we loved each other, and it
And
was
still to this day. you guys
yeah.
are
And still to
super
this day,
close.
we hang out, and it's awesome. But for me, it was like, man, I still got to do this somehow, and I didn't know what that was going to look like, or how that was going to work out. So I took a little time off, and I'm a singer-songwriter, so I just naturally, like, songs are constantly coming in my head and in my heart. And so, I was just writing a lot, and, just thought, I wonder if I could do a solo thing. And I was always, like, super insecure about that, like, to go solo and put my name out there is like,
Yeah, and I've thought
yikes.
about that a lot.
That was probably the most intimidating, scary thing for me. And so I had to work through that and talk to a lot of people. And Serge was actually a huge advocate of me just like going for it. And I remember Serge was like, dude, you got to do this. Like, I'll support you. I'll help you. And so, yeah, I just literally like.
Speaking of supporting Josh.
Oh,
the
hey,
Josh Falcon
that's a great shirt.
This is a Josh Falcon shirt
Yeah,
too. It
go
just
ahead.
it doesn't have the print on it yet. But
No.
it's-
That's called
it's
being
the-
full of it right there.
That's called the
Oleg,
cheap print,
right
and
here.
it washed
Yeah, it
off.
just
after,
washed off.
after 2
Josh
washes.
Falcon,
It just-
this has been through 1,000 washes.
Okay, they
Because-
can't-
You know why? Because it's a true Josh Falcon. This is a true Josh
this is
Falcon
a true
shirt.
Falconeer right here.
I'm a true Falconeer.
True Falconeer.
I don't care if I wear my band's shirt or the artist shirt. People can make fun of me all you want.
Oh my
I
God.
like this shirt.
We're both Falconeers. Mine just washed off because I wore it so much. I wore it everywhere. I wore it to church. I wore it to work.
Nope, blocked. You got blocked
oh
on
my
the camera.
You're gonna block me? You're gonna block me? Gonna do this?
Blocked.
I got
Done.
unblocked.
Blocked. Okay.
Anyways,
God.
so sorry.
So
Speaking back to
Why
me.
can't we unfriend? Why can't we unfriend? Why can't we unfriend?
Unfriend people all the time.
So anyway, so you went solo, and I got another question for you. When you went solo, did you have a specific goal in mind, or were you just like, I want to try this out, and I want to go for it, or did you have a certain goal? Because I remember after you went solo, you did something very gutsy, which I really respected about you. You did like your own like release concert at what was the not the Guild
Theater,
the Guild.
Yeah.
You did like your own release concert just on your own, promoting it, hoping you're hoping people would come. So what?
Yeah.
So what motivated you to get to that point? Because I know for me, like, that would be so hard to do. Like, just me by myself promoting myself as an artist. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy, and I thought I was crazy, and people did show up.
It's a good show.
Which was
It
awesome.
was,
yeah.
it was,
Fun
it
show.
was, yeah. It kind of blew my mind. I thought, wow, these people are here to support, and it was pretty awesome and humbling. But for me, it was just like, hey, I got to take this risk, or I'm gonna look back and just regret it. I'm gonna wish I did it, but I didn't, and either fear got in the way, or insecurity or whatever. And so, I think I had enough people around me that were saying like, dude, you can do this. Like we'll help you, we'll support you. And so that just kind of
Solidified it.
I think one of the common threads of like our podcast, even the since it's kind of two different, almost sometimes polar opposite things, like business and music, both have a lot of risk, like starting a business or starting, developing a product. Same with like writing an album and putting yourself out there. I feel like sometimes being an artist is even more risky because like it's so personal. It's so like if you're truly writing from your heart or from your soul, there's a lot of like, because what if everyone says like, dude, that sucks, and you're like, this is me, like this is my like my being or my personality on this, in this song or whatever. So I mean, the risk, that's one of the common things. I think that's what unites this kind of two different random topics that we're doing.
Right. And to kind of look at the business aspect of it, I think that show, you just you really thought of it from the business point of view as far as promotion, and I think it was perfect because you had it as a music video release concert. The venue you picked couldn't have been more perfect. It wasn't huge. You didn't try to go to some church and just hope that 10,000 people would show up. You went to a theater you could possibly pack out. So it was a really good show. So from the business side of things, I think it was
You
perfect.
were right next to Old Soul Coffee. I mean,
yeah.
Well, hey,
right
hold on.
there.
Well, hey, with that said, you were in the middle of downtown, really cool spot, a theater everybody knew about. Everybody's like, oh, he's playing at the Guild. I know the Guild. It was a venue everybody knew about. So I think from did you kind of think of it that way, or were you just like, I got to take what I can get?
No, I mean, I wanted to do it in a neutral spot. I didn't want to do it in a church for the reason that because in my Method Echo days, I had made a lot of relationships with people who were not in the church. And so I didn't want to invite those people to feel like, oh, you have to come to a church in order to hear my music. I wanted it to be a place where everybody could feel comfortable and come and even though my content is faith-based, like
Right.
I kind of wanted those barriers to be broken.
Right, and the another impressive thing about that is that it wasn't a free concert; it was paid.
Yeah,
people had
it
to
was.
pay. So I mean, that's even more risky,
Totally.
that's really good. You were there. You were playing with us,
yeah,
weren't you?
I played drum.
Oh, okay.
I played drum that show.
That's right. And so my next question is that I was always
Dang,
curious
questions over here.
about.
Questions
well,
McGee.
well, hold on.
My next question.
I'll give.
Can I have a question?
Fine. Last
Josh,
question.
how are you, man?
Last question. You just gonna bag on me, bro?
All right,
This whole
great.
part?
Continue.
Okay.
I'm not giving you space, man. I'm giving you space. I'm being quiet over here.
The Falconer over here wants to get his word in. Groupie. So why did you go? You went kind of a pop direction, right? So as an artist, how do you get to that point? You could go pop, you could go worship, you could go rock, you could go, metal. Well, for your kind of style, you know what I mean? So why did you particularly go pop? Because it was kind of different from Method Echo, and it's kind of different from your background, which is kind of church based, you know. So, and I've never, at least locally, I mean, there's big artists out there that kind of can go Christian pop, but you kind of went pop, kind of Christian, which is very unique. I've never seen that before. How did you arrive at that point, and were you considering other styles of music?
Yeah, I originally the music sounded very different. It was very like rock alternative, because I thought, oh, that's kind of the faith-based like Christian scene is rock alternative. Like everybody wants, that's just what it is. And so, but then I had some people say, no, dude, you got to be who you are. And so, you know, on this record, I like produced probably half of it, if not more of it. And so a lot of it was just me just having fun and like Logic and kind of just messing around with ideas. And so I had another co-producer on the project who was very pop, and he added his ideas. And I just wanted the song to be fun. You know, I just wanted them to be fun and them to translate live and just kind of be, you know, exciting. And so, yeah, I mean, there's definitely like songs I look back on and go, oh crap, what was I thinking?
So why did you change
That was
records?
your last question, bro. I mean, can I have a question?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna turn.
It better
this
be
bus.
a good question.
Hey, I'm gonna turn.
Don't
this
be putting
bu-
people to sleep on this podcast.
I'm gonna sleep
Don't-
over here with
don't
your
be
questions.
putting-
I got another question, sir. I got this. Let me pull out my
I love his
PowerPoint.
imitation of you.
First of all, they're not my
PowerPoint over
questions. They were fan questions.
I have a few.
We have John
debatable
from New Zealand.
topics.
First question was from John from New Zealand. Second question was, we got a worldwide audience here, y'all. Just so you know.
Worldwide.
Wow,
and-
wow, there he is.
Yeah, there he is, John from New Zealand.
That's
We got
ex-boyfriend.
Quintifa from Nigeria.
All right, I'm gonna turn this bus in different directions.
All
You
right.
ready for this?
right.
Worst gig, best gig.
Yeah.
Worst gig. Oh man. Worst gig.
Let's start with best gig.
Best gig.
You want to end with the fun stuff.
Okay. Best gig was worst gig and best gig were definitely Method Echo days for me. Best gig was we had won this Hard Rock Cafe thing contest, and basically when 100.5 was the zone,
I
they
remember those days.
they did those big shows
I
out
still
at.
had acne.
Didn't you? Really?
Yeah, I did. hard.
Proactive is like
No.
rocking your world right
I
now.
just use
do you
Russian
mean
remedies. You rub mayonnaise on face
mayonnaise.
and
huh?
you wrap with cabbage.
That's the
cabbage
trick.
leaves for 5 days.
Was
While-
onions ever
While
worse?
eating onions.
You rub onions?
Hey, all you
Rub
Slavics out there,
onions.
you
Hey,
know it's
You
true.
know exactly what I'm talking about. The onions and honey with milk in the microwave for 4 minutes. Take it out, put it back in the microwave for 3.5 minutes after it cools off. Take it out, put it with some ketchup, eat it, snort it. Boom,
Here's
you're
my
healed.
theory on Russian remedies or any kind of natural remedies. It's always using something that's intended for something, but using it for something else. Like, oh, you got an eye problem? Just go ahead and rub some nasal cream on it. It'll get right out.
And then you have your grandpa arguing, no, you got to put toothpaste on the eye.
that's
You're going to
another one.
see like an owl. So,
All
yeah.
right. Apparently our grandpas are southern. Continue. So,
Oh
best
my.
gig, worst gig. You guys
so-
won a contest.
Yeah, so we won this contest, and we just got really good in with the with 100.5 The Zone, and they asked us to come open up a show for Chris Daughtry that they were doing at Gibson Ranch every year. They had these big shows out there, festivals, and so that was like 10,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Like,
That's a big show.
I remember you were telling me about that.
Daughtry was backstage. Nick Lachey.
Is
Nick
he
Lachey.
cool
You
guy?
guys remember
I
Nick
heard he's
Lachey?
kind of a Daughtry.
Yeah, he was kind of
More like douche-tree.
Yeah, he was.
He's like,
Street,
he was
for
like an
sure.
Aaron Carter,
Sorry.
wasn't he?
Yeah, it was like one of those moments where I was like, "Hey, we're all backstage. Like,
Yeah.
we're not just
Why not
like
just
some
embrace
dude."
it? Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
So I walked up to Chris and I was like, "Hey, dude, I really loved you on American Idol, and you know we opened the show today, and just wanted to say what's up." And he was like, "What's up?"
You should have said like, "Hey, I also like you in Triple X
I was like, "Nice bald head."
and Fast and the Furious."
Have you ever had a rude conversation with like a known artist?
Not really. I mean, that was kind of like
It's not a style.
that was kind of like the rudest it got. I mean, I've had a lot of not a known artist. I've had a lot of weird conversations with drunk or high artists.
I actually
like-
remember some.
When
I
Josh
remember
needed
some.
when Josh needed to have rude conversations, he would just tell Chris and his brother to go just have a chat with him.
Oh yeah, that's for
and
sure.
that's it, dude. They don't
Yeah.
need. They don't even need a rude conversation. You just walk up.
That's so true.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
up?
the muscles
You
would
go-
speak.
Muscles
That
and
was-
Brussels.
No words were in the conversation at all. The
No.
muscles would speak.
Muscles speak volumes. All right, worst gig.
So worst gig was we were doing a motorhome tour up the West Coast and then up to Seattle, and we showed up to this venue called like the Lava Lamp or the Blue Lamp or something like
that sounds psychedelic, bro. Come on.
And
in.
there was like,
take off your
Is the
shoes.
shaman in yet?
okay, there was
Has
like
the shaman arrived? There he is, the shaman.
Remember that? Do you remember that?
Blue
Gig?
Lamp.
Just
Well,
lay low,
we're-
there's the shaman.
The shaman is
Dim the
actually.
lights.
So we were at a coffee shop in L.A. We played a show together. There was all three of us,
Okay.
and these girls. There's like this outside patio area with like all these like vines everywhere. And I walked up to those girls and I was like, "Hey girls, do you know what time the shaman arrives?"
And they're like, huh? What do
I
you
was
mean,
like,
shaman?
"Yeah, the shaman's supposed to get here to work to
What?
bless us with his spirits." And they were just like, "What?" It's great.
And then you were like, oh, you guys must not be regulars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
You must be from Northern California.
This is okay. So back to your thing. I'm gonna have another question regarding that.
All right. So yeah. Anyways, there was like 10 people at the gig, including like the kitchen staff and the bartender and the sound guy.
That's right.
And we
That's
didn't
four.
get paid.
Or three.
And it was just lame. It sucked. It was like we thought we were cool because drove all the way to Seattle for this book show, and it was just lame. It was bad. It was horrible. We lost money. We had to pay like out of our own pockets for gas, for food, and people have missed work. So it was not a good day.
Okay.
Life of a musician can be
Yeah.
But
rough.
here, this is actually for everyone. Do you think you have just as much fun? We've all done like big budget touring, and we've all done low budget touring. Big budget meaning like you're a tour bus, or you're flying somewhere, you're
Recording
playing,
artist.
you're a recording artist, or a small budget where you're just in a band playing some shows like locally, semi-locally, you're driving across half the country in a van or SUV, you stay in hotels. Do you think, I have a theory on it, but do you think there's a difference as far as like the amount of fun or like what you get out of it? Is there a different dynamic that you get out of low budget touring versus high budget touring, big budget touring?
Yeah, I mean, I think low budget touring is you have to go through that, like in order to get your stripes and like, find out what it's all about. And I think like on the road, you need to find out what the road's all about, and the road like needs to find out what you're all about.
Yeah.
And so before you can go into like the next level, I think for most guys, maybe not every situation, but yeah, you gotta like go through those struggling moments. But I think the low budget, like some of those gigs were the funnest gigs for me.
I have
like,
a same
driving to
experience.
LA like super early in the morning, playing a show, and then driving all the way back at night.
Yeah.
Like, was insane. Like, I don't know how we didn't die on I-5.
Well, so that explains a lot, because I remember when I was following you guys, when you guys were in the Method Echo, I was always like, wait, don't these guys have jobs? Like, how are they touring all the way to LA? But you
Yeah.
guys went to LA and back on
make it happen.
Saturday.
You make it
too.
work.
Oh yeah, and some of us had wives.
Some
and-
of them had multiple wives.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's what you got to do
We're Mormons.
to make it
Man,
as a
his
musician.
wives.
Can I use the accent?
Dude, you
Is
can do
that
whatever you
okay?
want.
Dude,
bro.
you're
I'm
actually
not-
required
Oleg-
I'm
as
not
a
a-
guest.
Oleg already hijacked my accent.
I'm
so
not
he's
of
already
Ukraine
using it.
descent, but I
I
wonder
don't
if
do
it's-
it like you though, man. I don't know
The
how you do it so
originals.
perfect.
So originals.
Originals.
Mine is-
Originals.
mine is
Mine sounds
original.
corny.
Man, it's-
Yeah. Josh says it pretty funny though too. He's like, I have friends.
I try.
I try.
Hey, for everyone out there, Josh, go speak some Russian to us, please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Да, понял.
Ты-
Да.
Всё понятно, нормально.
Да. Может быть, да. Ага, ну да.
Josh has the best fake non-Russian Russian. It's
I
the
love it.
best.
dude. I
It's
love
awesome.
it. I just love jib jabbing and
You one time you came up to me and you said like a paragraph long in that kind of Russian, and I was like,
Yeah, it's awesome.
and you're
I
like,
was like,
you
okay,
love my pants.
No, yeah, I was like,
that
okay,
are
I was like,
Green onions.
I was like, you said
Where?
rain, you said pants, you said shoes, huh? And it was all by
Awesome.
love.
Rosetta Stone. You'll be saying words, but you won't be making any
Paying
sense.
off, guys. It's paying off.
So my theory is that low budget touring sometimes gives you more as far as like the experience. Like big budget touring, it's fun because it's like everything's nice. You get there, the gear's set up, or everything's like legit. The venues are legit, and there is an element of like complete like awesomeness to that. You know, like it's like you're treated like you know, top-notch players or top-notch artists or whatever. But sometimes I think you lose out on like the those gritty experiences where you're like, you know, when I was on the road with an artist that was like low budget touring, we ate at a diner called the Backdoor Diner in the middle of nowhere,
dude.
Texas. I mean, it was disgusting, but
Yeah.
I can tell that story. It's about the
Yeah.
experience. I think a lot of the touring that I've done, it's the shows are great. I don't remember the shows as much as I remember the journey or the experience, or staying at some weird hotel where some weird crackhead guy was walking around the halls or whatever. You know, it's like that's what I think the fun of touring is. The playing, of course, because we love playing music. But there's that whole like, because you spend more time off stage than you do on stage.
Well, here's the thing. Bottom line is, unless you're born into luxury as a musician or artist, you're gonna go through that. I mean, look at
Unless you get lucky and you can just.
I mean, super
Some
lucky.
guys
But
do.
what's that band, that huge band that was touring in bars for like 20 years, making nothing, and now they're huge?
Oh,
Black Keys. The Black Keys, perfect example.
What's it called? Kings of Leon. I think they toured their first album like 7 years and no one knew who they were.
Yeah, I mean, Black Keys, like
I mean,
almost
don't quote me on
20
that,
years. 20 years
Yeah, it's
making
crazy.
nothing, and now look how big they are. So I mean, all artists have to go through eventually,
But I
unless you
think
get really
too,
lucky.
it's who you're doing it with, and if you're with
Exactly.
you're with a group of
sure.
guys who are on the same page, you guys love what you do, the relationships are good, you guys vibe well, you know, on and off stage. I think you can make it work, and it's worth it to hang in there and stick it out and see what happens. You know?
And that's so true, because there's been so many times, and Serge, I remember you were telling me this when I first met you, when you could play with the best musicians, I mean, musicians that are just so dope, but you don't get along with them, or you're not always on the same page as them, and it's miserable, man.
Yeah.
But you play with your buddies who might not be as good, but you guys click a lot more. That just makes the experience.
It's the hang.
Totally.
It's the
The
backstage hang, the at lunch hang, whatever. It's the hang, because you spend more hours with those people outside of music. So, I mean, I have like, especially lately, I have like a pretty line in the sand kind of standard about like either it has to pay really well, it has to be music that I really like, or it has to be people that I really like. One of those has to be there, or else I won't do it.
Right, and that's just not what it's
worth
about.
Because music turns into work, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. Like I just, it's like soul crushing.
Yeah, and that's I was gonna ask you. You know, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's looking to get into music, that's maybe kind of young? And I mean, that's a perfect
That's a
example.
great
Play,
question, Oleg.
but
You're so
well,
smart.
I was gonna say.
Man.
Play with people that
Girls,
you want to play
Oleg's
with.
single, and he's smart,
Girls, Serge is very single.
and it's not as I advertise that. Very old, many olds, many years, beards.
I'm almost many olds.
All right, so advice.
What was the question? Sorry.
No, I wasn't asking a question. I was just saying, like,
Oh.
like we were that
Advice,
that,
like-
that,
Oh,
that,
advice.
that advice would be to you, like, play with who you get along with, and that for the hang, because you're gonna be miserable if you play with only people, you know, that have a certain musical characteristic.
I mean, I would say
You don't
would
want to
s-
play with people that suck necessarily,
no.
but
I would say play with people who, you know, who challenge you musically, you know, who inspire you musically, you know, guys that or girls that you know you vibe well with relationally. I think that's a huge part, and I think just you know, man, constantly working on, you know, your craft, like whatever it is, bass, drums, keys, if you're a vocalist. And I think a lot of guys just, you know, they kind of put that on the back burner and think like, oh, if I just, you know, put a record out, or if I make T-shirts, or, you know, book a lot of
the
shows.
marketing element is so big now that it's like people
if I
oversee the music.
business my music, everything maybe will help progress. But I think it's the reverse. If you're constantly working hard, that will pay off for sure. And that never stops. It's never like, oh, I made it, but I think, you know, you have to constantly become diverse too. I think a lot of guys, like, they get in this box where they just play one style. I just play this is what I do, and that's it. But learning to play with different styles and
Yeah, I've always said my favorite type of musician is a diverse musician. A guy that can play many different styles, sing many different styles, because that shows that the musician is pushing themselves. And I have so much more to learn, and that's kind of what I strive for.
Yeah.
Be diverse, because when you're diverse, you could play a certain style and bring another aspect of another genre into what you're playing.
yeah, your
know-
your keyboard playing's kind of slacking lately.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
what I'm saying, dude.
You're,
wanna
you're only
tell
able
you,
to play 18 notes per
It-
second. You used to
I
be
saw
able to
that
play
comment.
25.
Josh is like, how do you play 18 notes at once?
Oh my god.
I'm like, it's the long fingers, bro.
Man, look at those
Look
things.
at these things, man.
Like a rake.
Like dude, this thing can grab anything, man.
So,
can.
moral of the story is be true to who you are, huh?
Be true to who you are, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can take it so serious that you just get frustrated, and music is just frustrating. But it should always be fun. I think for me, it's like cling to a music, an artist that I was thinking about this on the way here. Clinging to an artist that you really feel like you have something in common with. Whether it's a bass player, a keyboardist, guitar, drummer, a vocalist. Really cling to them and learn as much as you can off of them, and then once you've done your homework and given it some time, then create, and then it's kind of like make it your own. And so I think for young artists, young musicians, it's just kind of stick to your niche, what you're good at.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of earlier. So why did you change Wreckage from reggae to a more pop feel? Because people
so
love
sad on this wreckage.
people.
man.
I am
Yeah,
because
he
so,
is.
cause
He's
so
wreckaging
look,
this podcast with it.
because so many people like that reggae version. Like people freaking loved it.
Yeah, I did
I
too.
never heard that version. I just heard the original.
Well, because
Well,
we
that's
didn't try.
that's because you weren't
Dang.
playing with us back then. You got demoted.
Yes, I was.
I know.
I was so playing.
You got super demoted.
I was kind of convinced out of that, actually, because I hear what you're saying. I like that version better, but two of the guys who were helping me engineer and produce the record
They wanted the
said-
same style, didn't
Well,
they?
they said you don't have a ballad on the record at all. There's no slow song, so they
Gotta have a ballad.
cut it in half, and that's how it became the slower
Right, yeah.
tune. But
Well, I like wreckage. just the way it
sorry,
is.
remix.
No, it was a
Ole
good version.
hates wreckage
It was
the way it is, but I love it. Speaking of loving your music, Serge wearing the Josh Falcon shirt. One more plug for the shirts. Get them online while you can.
Are they still online, Josh Falcon? Josh Falcon?
Yeah, they
.com?
are. They are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Get your T-shirts.
Hey, speaking of online, our website's going up.
Hive.
BuzzHive.
BuzzHive.
BuzzHive.net.
Is it
Buzz-
BuzzHive.net? I thought
Yes,
it
it
was BuzzHive
is.
online. Okay, BuzzHive.net.
BuzzHive-
Sorry.
BuzzHive.net.
Horrible sponsorship.
BUZZ
Over-
Hive HIVE.net.
.net.
Jason from BuzzHive did our logos split second. Amazing job.
Literally
And
what I imagined in my head.
he was
literally.
like, "Hey, you want a website?" I'm like, yeah. How much does that cost? Here you go. Here's the link. I was like, "Okay, thanks, man. Love you so much. Bye."
And he
but-
did it from across the country, didn't he?
He's coming out, from Atlanta. He's doing this thing where he's basically I don't know the exact concept. I'll get more details. You keep listening to podcasts. I'll keep talking about BuzzHive, where they'll build you a website and you pay for the website with by signing up to their marketing campaign. Don't quote me on that exactly, but I'll get the exact specs of it from him for the next podcast. But it's a pretty cool concept. You get a free website, and you get on their marketing system, and they market your website like SEO and social media and all that stuff. So really cool concept, really cool guy, amazing designer, amazing developer. So BuzzHive.net, they are our official sponsor.
We got to have
my
that guy
podcast.
on. When are we going to have him on?
We'll have him on. We'll have him via Skype. He's a really awesome guy. He's a really funny guy. And he's a musician. He plays bass.
Slap at the bass.
He slaps the bass.
Slap.
Josh, what's coming up this year for you?
What's next? What's your goal?
So
What
let's-
are your
my
goals?
goal? Oh,
Finish
jeez.
this podcast
Yeah.
with a bang.
Wow.
I mean, you're playing with the artist right
Setting you
now.
up there.
You've had your own shows. You've been your own artist. You're now playing with a recording artist. So what's
You've
your
been
goal?
on Friends.
You've been on Friends. So
I mean, what else is
there's
there?
millions of people listening right now.
Retire.
I could
man.
die tonight.
So-
and it's
And not
the
the
bucket
top.
list is
It doesn't
full.
get better.
Doesn't get better.
Doesn't
dude.
get better.
Oh man,
I know
the
we're kind of
goal.
putting you on the spot
No,
here,
that's
but it's
cool, that's
you know,
cool. You know,
we're trying to get you to think.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's good. I'm kind of trying to work through that right now. This year is crazy. There's a lot of shows coming up with the artists I'm playing with, which I'm so excited about. My goal is to put a couple new songs out by the summer, and see what happens with that. And then I'm leading worship on weekends at a church at Society Church in Midtown,
The best downtown
Sacramento.
church in
It's
Midtown
a rad,
Sacramento.
super dope church. Like, I've grown up in church all my life, and it's a unique church. It's very cool. Why are you laughing?
Because Oleg doesn't go to our
Oh,
our
he
church.
doesn't. He doesn't.
He goes.
I'm
he
sorry.
goes to church number 2. I mean, the gap is wide, but it's
I'm
definitely not
sorry.
second.
I'm
line.
contractually obligated to not argue against other churches. So
It's all right. It's nothing to argue
have
about.
to keep my
Society
mouth shut.
number 1.
That's okay. We're all one
they're-
church, right?
What
We're
are
all
they?
on
A
the same
sponsor?
team.
We're sponsored by a church, y'all.
We're not. Anyways, no, sorry.
So yeah, I'm hoping to put a couple songs out this summer, and just because I feel like I got to keep doing that, and then just kind of see what where God takes things the end of this year, and we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Hey, thanks for having. Man, that just.
Thanks for
fell apart.
having us on our podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us
Thanks
on
for
your show.
There's the sign that we need to wrap up.
We need to wrap up. We need to get some coffee, some more coffee.
And some sleep.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
we
thanks for
really
being here, man.
appreciate-
Thank you
Seriously, dude.
guys.
Thank
Serious.
you for making friends happen by introducing me and Oleg.
Hey, thank you for letting me
So
play
fans
with you
out
guys.
there, check out Josh Falcon. What on iTunes, right?
Yeah, iTunes or I have
Music video on
Facebook.
YouTube, right?
Yep, Josh Falcon Music. I got 2 music videos out, and I also am a partner artist with an organization called Courage Worldwide, which helps rescue young girls from sex trafficking, and so I put a music video out to help promote that.
What's that song called?
It's called Love Won't Disappear, and so you can visit that on my YouTube channel or my website, joshfalconmusic.com,
Awesome.
or Facebook too.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, dude.
You guys, thank you so much for being supportive.
Seriously, and one thing we forgot to do last time is follow us on Instagram, please.
Frendz Podcast at Frendz Podcast, FRENDZ Podcast.
And so now we're going to upload the audio version on iTunes because some of you have texted me that, I got to keep my screen on to listen to your podcast. We'll have the audio version on iTunes and then the video version on YouTube.
Eventually, we'll have both
Eventually.
on iTunes, but for now, YouTube will be on video will be on YouTube, audio will be on iTunes, and we'll get a SoundCloud up too.
Yeah, and then are we starting a Facebook page?
We are. I
Let-
just haven't gotten around to it
Yeah,
because
we
I've been
just-
busy, buying microphones and stuff, and
Driving all
buying
the way to
stands,
LA
driving around
on premium gas.
Had to go. So thank you so much. Remember, sharing is caring. So
Sharing
go
is caring.
share this if you like it. If you have any suggestions, comments, if you want to be on the show, if you know someone that would be a great person on the show, just hit us up.
frendzpodcast@gmail.com.
Boom! We're out there.
Boom.
Thank you so much for all the supporters. We love you guys.
We love you guys. Peace.
Bye.